All right, this is Module 1, Lesson 5. We're going to talk about proportional relationships from tables. So, example 1 talks about a new self-serve frozen yogurt store opened this summer that sells its yogurt at a price based on the total weight of the yogurt and its toppings in a dish. Each member of Isabella's family weighs this dish, and this is what they found. So, determine if the cost is proportional to the weight. So, here's what we're trying to do. We're trying to determine if this table shows a proportional relationship. So first thing I want to identify to you, in a chart, the first column is always X, second is always Y, same thing with the rows. First row is always X, first row is always Y. It says to find the unit rate. Now I'm going to remind you that's the same thing as the constant of proportionality, and we find that by dividing Y by X. So our Y value is the cost. Our X value is the weight or the ounces. So let's take a look at this first one. The cost is 5 for 12.5 ounces. So I'm going to take my calculator and I'm going to do 5 divided by 12.5, which gives me 0.4. Now I'm going to do that for every single column. So this one is $4 for 10 ounces. So 4 divided by 10, 0.4. I'm going to keep going. It's $2 for 5 ounces. So 2 divided by 5, 0.4. $3.20 divided by 8, 0.4. So notice that the unit rate for each one of these is 0.4. So K is 0.4. So does everybody pay the same price? Well, they're not paying the same price, but they're paying the same unit rates, right? So we'll say yes, all the unit rates are the same. So because all the unit rates are the same, we know that it forms a proportional relationship. So we would say, yes, this is a proportional relationship. And we know that because all unit rates are the same. So if it's a proportional relationship, now we can write an equation that would represent this. So remember our equation for proportional relationships is y equals kx. So K is the unit rate. So we would be multiplying y, which is our cost, is equal to K, 0.40, times the weight, which is your x values. So we could say that our equation is y equals 0.40x, or just 0.4x. Now, up in the chart, there is a missing y value. So how would we find this? Well, we could take the equation y equals 0.40x. And since we know that this x value is 15, we can replace the x with 15 in the equation. So I'm going to bring my calculator over. And I'm going to multiply 0.40 times 15, which gives me 6. So that means that 15 ounces cost $6. All right, so let's go to the next example. All right, this example is not in table format, but it's a double number line. It's the same thing, just in a double line instead of in a table. Just remember the top one is your X, the bottom one is your Y. So in this one, it says that in the back of the recipe book, a diagram provides easy conversions. So let's find the unit rate. So your Y value, remember, is your ounces, and your X is your cups. I should have written K is equal to Y over X, because remember, Y divided by X is the unit rate. All right, so let's go through each one. So let's start with this one right here. Okay, we have 4 ounces divided by 1/2. So I'm going to bring in my calculator. 4 divided by, I'm going to use 0.5. That gives me 8. The next one, my ounces is 8. My cups is 1. So 8 divided by 1 is 8. Next pair is 12 ounces is 1 1/2 cup. Let me divide that. 12 divided by 1.5 is 8. I have 16 divided by 2, which is also 8. All right, so my unit rate or my K value is 8. So is the number of ounces proportional to the number of cups? Are all the unit rates the same? Yeah, so yes. This is a proportional relationship. Because all unit rates are the same. So let's write an equation. Now remember, an equation is y equals kx. I know my unit rate is 8. So my equation is y equals 8x. So how would I take that information and fill in the rest of this chart? Well, I can use this equation to fill in the bottom. So let's start with, well, we already know some of these from up above. 0 is 0 if we look up above. 1/2 is 4. 1 is 8. 1 1/2 is 12, and 2 is 16. Okay, so what happens if we want to know 4 cups? Well, 4 is on the top. That's your x value. So if I replace my equation, y equals 8x, with 4, I get 32. So that means that 4 cups is 32 ounces. What if I want to know 5 cups? Take the same equation, replace it with 5, which would give me 40 ounces. And 8 cups, take the same equation, replace it with 8 to give you 64 ounces. All right, let's go to the next page. And I'd like you to actually try this example on your own. So I want you to pause the video, try it out, but when you're done, make sure your answer is correct by going back and watching the rest of this problem on the video. All right, exercise 1 says during Jose's physical education class today, students visited activity station. Next to each station was a chart depicting how many calories would be burned. So here's the chart. Remember, this is your X and this is your Y. So it says, is the number proportional? Well, in order to know that, we have to find the K value, the unit rate, Y divided by X. So Y is your calories, X is your minutes. We're going to do that for each one. So 11 divided by 1 is 11. 22 divided by 2 is 11. 33 divided by 3 is 11. And 44 divided by 4 is 11. So does that mean that or we should say the unit rate then is 11, which means they're all the same. So we would say, yes, this is a proportional relationship. Because all the unit rates are the same. Okay, so if we know the unit rate is 11, then we can tell that our equation, y equals kx, we could write y equals 11x, knowing that k is 11. Let's use this equation to answer this question. It says that he jump rope for 6.5 minutes. Going back up, the minutes is your x value. So I'm going to replace x with 6.5, and I'm going to multiply that. So 11 times 6.5 gives us 71.5, and that's how many calories were burnt. All right, let's sum all of this up by filling in the chart on the next page. Okay, it says the quantities in the table are proportional if. When's the only time? The unit rates are the same. Now, let's remember what the equation is that models this relationship. And remember, we keep saying that it's y equals kx. Now, let's answer these questions based on this chart right here. Okay, we have time compared to distance, so that's x compared to y. Is it proportional? Well, let's check it out. We're going to do k equals y divided by x. So 10 divided by 1 is 10. 20 divided by 2 is 10. And 30 divided by 3 is 10. So yes, this is a proportional relationship. And how do we know that? Because all unit rates are the same. And what's the equation that models this? Well, we found the unit rate to be 10. So our equation is y equals 10x. All right, you're going to try the rest of this lesson, all of the problem set for homework tonight.